Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Miss TV Total Football. Viktor Gyokeres to Arsenal. It is official. Obviously, we got the here we go a few days back, but now it is official. And we're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it. Arsenal Fan TV, no one cared who I was until I put on the mask. I mean, and they've got some cringe video. I just saw this video. It's crazy. If this deal blows up on their face, all of this stuff is going to look so funny, ladies and gentlemen. But look, nonetheless, we need to talk in a serious manner, but at the same time, we're going to try and put in some banter as well. Look, I rate the player. Is there question marks regarding the player and how he may adapt in the Premier League? Of course there is. But I do rate the player. I thought if Chelsea ended up getting Viktor Gyokeres up front, I thought maybe that would be a very fantastic player for Enzo Maresca in terms of how fluid he can be. But look, nonetheless, I'm happy with what we've got. João Pedro, Liam Delap, whether we get someone down the track, we'll see. But for Arsenal, ladies and gentlemen, is this the missing piece? For so many seasons now, they've ignored the striker position. They've tried to make do with, Alexander Lacazette. After Aubameyang, literally, it's not been that great. Lacazette, then there's been, in recent times, Kai Havertz. Then there was Eddie Nketiah. They had a song for him as well. This is what Arsenal fans, they do, man. They just make all of these nonsense songs for players that are not worth it. And it always felt like Arsenal Football Club that they were just a striker away. Everything seemed to have come into a fruition nicely. Everything has sort of been put into place nicely. It felt like for me, and I'm pretty sure it feels like for Arsenal fans as well, that striker, they're about a striker away from really doing something significant. So Viktor Gyokeres, does it make them serious? In my opinion, it probably does. It probably does make them quite serious. You know, they've got a strong midfield. They've got very good wingers in the likes of Bukayo Saka. Now they've got Madueke, who I don't really rate that highly, but, could do something for them. They may even add a few more players. They're getting linked with Eze. Eze only wants to go to Arsenal. They've got a strong defense. They've got a very good goalkeeper. They've been coming close over the past few seasons, but they've not been able to go over the line. Now, Viktor Gyokeres, ladies and gentlemen, look, this guy has bossed it in the Portuguese league, and I get it. It's the Portuguese league. I understand it, but we shouldn't disregard the numbers he's put in there. He's done well in the Champions League as well. When he's played against Manchester City, he did really well, and against other teams too. But the thing about Viktor Gyokeres, ladies and gentlemen, he's not foreign to the English culture. He has been on loan, or I think he was on loan, or he was in the Championship playing for, can't remember which team exactly, but he has got Championship experience. And Championship is nothing to be, looked down upon. You don't undermine the Championship. You don't demean the Championship. So he should know that in the Premier League in UK, it's quite physical, and it's, the defenders are very strong. You're not going to get all of that space and all of that luxury that perhaps you got in the Portuguese league. But nonetheless, I don't want to take away from his skills. He's a strong player, very good technically. I thought he was quite all right aerially from the matches that I've seen, but a lot of people are saying his aerial stats are not actually that great. But overall, this guy's a dynamic player. He's at an age where I think he's about to explode into a different stratosphere. And to come into a team like Arsenal, who've got all the other pieces of the puzzle nicely sorted out, Viktor Gyokeres could reap the benefits of the squad that Arsenal has conjured up over the past few seasons. Now, that's all the positive. I want to talk a little bit about the banter side of things. I want to talk a little bit about trying to keep this whole situation a little bit more balanced, right? Look, don't get me wrong. If Chelsea ended up getting Viktor Gyökeres, I would have been very, very excited. Of course I would have. But now that he's playing for Arsenal, I need to bring a little bit of energy, a little bit of entertainment just to balance things out, right? So obviously, we've talked about the positive. The negatives is, look, there's always going to be a question mark, right? Going from Portuguese league to the Premier League is two different kettle of fish. Telling you right now, it's two different beasts. Do you know what I mean? Like every single week, you're gonna face proper defenders. Yeah, there's gonna be that odd week where you're gonna get away with it, and Arsenal are gonna blow off the opposition. Sure, but it's not gonna be like in the Portuguese league where every other week. Besides, if you're not playing Porto, if you're not playing Benfica, you're just gonna smoke the rest of the league. Not in the Premier League. And in the Premier League, defenders are going to be on your case. Are you going to be able to handle that? As I said, he's got championship experience, sure, but that's still championship. Premier League is a different beast. And on top of that, Arsenal, they have not seen success for God knows how long now. And all of these cringe fests that you see with Arsenal Fan TV, if you haven't seen this video, if you want to check it out, check it out. They're absolutely adamant that that's it. Arsenal have done a madness now, and they're about to win the league. Even though I've said Arsenal probably just one piece of the puzzle away from making it all happen, which is the striker position. Arsenal, they're going to have to defy the odds. They've not won anything significant for a very, very long time. And this trend could continue. What is to say that Viktor Gyokeres comes in and, he'll have mud on his face. And it doesn't happen. Of course, there is a chance that it may happen, and it's going to be unbearable to live. Because look at Arsenal fans, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something about Arsenal fans, right? Without even winning anything, look at the way they move. The arrogance, the loudness, the constant acting like they're the biggest thing in world football. And this is when they've not even won anything. It's so clear that Chelsea Football Club are the best club in London. There's no doubts about that. We've won it all. Arsenal can't even say that. But the way they chat, it's incredible. They still feel that they are the best club, not just in London, they're one of the best in the world. Every season for the past few seasons, they think, yeah, we're the favorites to win the Premier League. We're the favorites to win the Champions League, and they win nada. So, imagine they actually, if they actually win something, it's going to be unbearable to live. However, they're going to have to defy Viktor Gyokeres. It's not just straight away written in the stars. You're going to have to defy the odds of Arsenal not being able to win anything significant for number of years, 2 decades plus. Lastly, what I want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is Arteta, you don't have any more excuses at all. And Arsenal fans, there is no more excuses. You've put the final piece of the puzzle. You've put the final piece of the puzzle. I said final piece. Final piece of the puzzle. There shouldn't be any more excuses from your fan base and from Mikel Arteta as well. Because now, where do you need to strengthen? What else do you need to do? You've got defenders. You've got a defender. Looks like maybe Saliba might be leaving in a season or a couple of seasons' time. So you've got yourself another defender, the Valencia defender. You've bolstered in midfield with Zubimendi, Nordgaard, and whoever else. You got Madueke. You're looking to get Eze. You've got Gyökeres. And this is on top of everything else that you already have. No more excuses for the fan base. No more excuses for Arteta. It's time to deliver. It's time to deliver. And I feel if you don't deliver, Mikel Arteta, you're going to have to answer the tough questions. And honestly, at that point, I don't want to hear any more of these phases. What phase this phase, that phase. I don't know whether this is what, the 6th or 7th season for Mikel Arteta. I think 6th full season. There was a half season. He only won an FA Cup, and that was against us. Yeah, we should have won that. Mikel Arteta, that's it. All phases are over. It's time to deliver. And I feel if he doesn't, he needs to be sacked. I really do think he needs to be sacked. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. I think Arsenal, look, they were already a serious team with Viktor Gyokeres. Now, yeah, I think they can definitely be in the mix with Liverpool, Manchester City. It wasn't looking that great for Arsenal earlier on in the transfer window, but now they definitely should be in the mix. Obviously, Chelsea, we want to throw ourselves into the mix as well, and we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out, but they're definitely a lot stronger with a proper striker up front. Whether he completely bangs for them, that's a different story. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Are Arsenal back? Are they serious? Should they be taken in a serious way? Should we be worried? Could they finally win the Premier League this season? Let me know your thoughts. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.